I can't forgive myself. I built this miserable hellscape and I trapped her in it.
You know those characters that just mess with your head? Like 1 second they're helping the hero and you're like, okay, maybe they're one of the good ones, but then they say something cold and borderline evil, and suddenly you're wondering, wait, where do you stand? That was Commander Joseph Lawrence, the man behind the colonies, the economic mastermind of Gilead, and also, somehow, the guy handing out beer to handmaids and helping them escape in the dead of night. He's not religious, he mocks it, he lets resistance networks run out of his house, then turns around and says women are like children. What? But I'll say this. He was never boring. Joseph Lawrence is the kind of character where the moment he walks on screen, you have no idea what's about to happen. And that's exactly why I couldn't stop watching him. Hey everyone, I'm Nikanak. I make videos twice a week about everything I question and overthink, and today we're breaking down Commander Joseph Lawrence, who he was, what he did, and why even after everything, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is his deal. So without further ado, let's get into it.
May the Lord open. Praise be to you, and may God make me worthy.
Super.
Before Gilead, Joseph was a respected economist and author. He wrote about population collapse, economic instability, and the infertility crisis that was pushing the world towards chaos. He didn't see the world in moral terms. He saw data, patterns, and systems.
He's an interesting man, instrumental in Gilead's creation, our visionary.
Now, when the sons of Jacob were gaining power, Lawrence didn't resist. He didn't speak out. Instead, he got involved. He helped design the economic structure of Gilead and came up with the idea for the colonies, which were the toxic labor camps where women were sent to die.
Back to work!
He wasn't religious by any means. He thought the other commanders were fanatics.
Unfortunately, I had to use religious nut jobs as a delivery system, and I underestimated their depravity.
But he still gave them the tools to build their nightmare. Now at home, things were different. His wife Eleanor was everything Gilead wasn't. Emotional, artistic, idealistic. She'd been an art professor before the regime.
Is she okay?
Life didn't turn out the way she wanted to. She was an art professor. She wanted everything to be beautiful.
She wanted children, and Joseph said no, partly because of her mental health, and maybe because he didn't believe in a future worth raising a child in.
You and the commander tried to have children?
I wanted to. He disagreed.
Still, he loved her, and as her condition got worse, he started to feel the weight of what he had built.
You know the penalty for reading nowadays? Feel free to answer any time.
A finger.
You think that's fair? It used to be a hand. Back in the good old days.
By the time we meet him, Lawrence is already living inside the consequences of his own design. Now, Bradley Whitford, who plays Joseph, has said the character reminds him of Robert McNamara, a brilliant mind whose systems thinking led to catastrophic human consequences.
Robert S. McNamara was a man of extraordinary accomplishment, but all of it, everything, is overshadowed by Vietnam. For 7 years under Presidents Kennedy and Johnson, McNamara directed the escalation of our commitment in Vietnam. He was so enmeshed in the conflict that by 1964, people were calling it McNamara's War. But in private, it's been learned McNamara came to have serious doubts that the U.S. could win in Vietnam. Indeed, McNamara spent the rest of his life agonizing over the war. It seemed to haunt him.
We were wrong. Terribly wrong. And we owe it to future generations to explain why.
That's who Lawrence is. He's a guy whose big brain has overwhelmed his humanity, and his big intellect has given him this kind of clinical distance from what his ideas have created. He continued to say that often you make decisions about a character that are static, and what's interesting about this guy is that he is constantly in play, which makes it very unpredictable.
But your character, Captain Lawrence, a bit morally ambiguous. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think he's got a big brain that obliterated his humanity, and maybe his humanity we're hoping is going to peek out a little bit.
We first meet Lawrence in season 2 when Emily is reassigned to his household. He doesn't follow Gilead's rules. His home is full of banned books and art, and he mocks the religious greetings.
Blessed be the fruit.
Glory be.
But his indifference isn't harmless. He's cold. He constantly tests people. He gets under Emily's skin and says things that are intentionally cruel.
But you know what that's like too, right? Do you know, have you healed properly?
And while he refuses to take part in the ceremony, he also doesn't stop the system from grinding on. He keeps his distance, but then he also benefits from it. Then something shifts. After Emily attacks Aunt Lydia, Lawrence doesn't punish her. He drives her to a safe house and helps her escape.
What is happening?
I'm getting myself in deep shit.
Not because he believes in freedom or justice, but because she's brilliant.
I helped Emily because she is unnaturally smart and could be useful to the world one day.
Because she has value. That's how Joseph thinks at this stage. Usefulness over morality.
You have to let the rebel rousers blow off a little steam or they'll smash everything to bits.
Now in season 3, June is placed in his house, and that dynamic shifts. The Marthas don't trust him, June doesn't either.
I'll see if I can find a guardian to take you home. Or wherever.
Now his relationship with June evolves. He challenges her, provokes her. He tells her she acts like a child, taking what she wants and ignores the fallout. But when she holds her ground, he listens.
It must be hell being a man like that. Far worse than useless.
Bradley Whitford said, I think he has a real reason to test June, and when you meet him, he is way out on a limb. I think he has a very legitimate fear. He's asking, is this a comrade I can depend on, or is this a sentimental mom who wants her baby back? Eventually, Joseph kind of lets June try on his shoes. He lets June choose 5 women to save from the colonies, forces her to make impossible choices just like he's had to.
I am not responsible for their deaths. You are. Gilead is.
Technical distinction that won't mean anything to these women.
And when Eleanor dies from an overdose, June finds her. Now she could have called for help, but she doesn't. Maybe out of mercy, maybe to protect their resistance. Either way, Lawrence is devastated. Now Bradley Whitford also said the only way he understands the horror of Gilead is by seeing what it has done to his wife. And after that, something changes. He helps June smuggle 86 children out of Gilead. He manipulates the other commanders to help save June when she kills Commander Winslow.
You're off the hook. Or off the wall, I should say, for now.
What happened?
Lucky for you, they think Winslow's just missing.
He pretends to be loyal while quietly sabotaging from the inside, but he still plays the game. He's still protecting himself. Now in season 4, he aligns with Aunt Lydia. She uses blackmail to claw her way back into power, and he backs her return to the Red Center.
What else you got?
I beg your pardon.
I get it. You can bury me. Can only imagine the goods you have on my illustrious colleagues.
In exchange, he uses her leverage to rejoin Gilead's High Council. It's a deal between 2 people who couldn't be more different. One is cruel, but at the end of the day, human, and the other is a pious little shit, clinging to righteousness and cattle prods. And that's Aunt Lydia, and we'll get to her next time.
Oh, you are so lucky! So privileged!
Now this is also the season where Lawrence makes one of his boldest moves, helping June kill Fred. Fred had betrayed Gilead by leaking secrets to Canada. He'd embarrassed Lawrence politically and became a liability. When Fred was traded back to Gilead, Lawrence stepped in. He rerouted the transfer and handed Fred to Nick, who delivered him to June in No Man's Land. Lawrence didn't kill Fred himself, but he made it happen. He cleared the way away, and he knew what would come of it. And the way it played out, as a ritual Gilead used to let handmaids kill condemned men, was no accident. Lawrence gave June a version of that ritual on her terms.
If I object, will it make a difference?
No, sir.
Well,
now in season 5, Joseph pitches New Bethlehem, a more tolerant Gilead.
A modernized, strategically liberalized island where Gilead refugees can come home.
He tries to sell June and her family on this idea, knowing it would be a huge PR win to have a symbol of resistance return to Gilead. June kind of considers it, but ultimately refuses.
All the girls, all the women, raped, tortured, abused, in a world that you created.
You think I don't know? You think I don't know the misery that I've caused?
Commander Putnam opposes the plan and tells Lawrence to give it up. Feeling his power is slipping, Lawrence grows anxious. When Lydia tells him that Putnam raped a handmaid before she was officially assigned to his house, Lawrence calls an emergency meeting and sets a plan in motion. He meets with Putnam privately, and Nick shoots Putnam in the head. Now also in this season, Joseph was feeling pressured to embody Gilead's family values, so he agrees to remarry. He asks Naomi Putnam, Warren's widow, to marry him, and she agrees. He reads to baby Angela, teaches her chess, tries to create some version of stability. It feels like he's trying to do better, and I do genuinely think he cares for baby Angela and simultaneously feels bad for her. And according to Bradley Whitford, Joseph and Eleanor may have lost a child early on, which also puts his conversation with Emily into a new light.
losing a child is like losing a limb.
But even then, his empathy has limits. Janine is brought into the Lawrence household as a kind of compromise. Naomi's reluctant gesture to let her live close to Angela. But when Janine tells Naomi she hates her, Naomi is shaken. Lawrence responds by having Janine arrested. That tension between glimpses of humanity and deeply ingrained control defines nearly every one of his actions. He lets Lydia take the reins again. He compromises. Now by season 6, Lawrence has been promoted to High Commander. His grip on power is still slipping, and he knows it. Janine reveals a spy hole to him at Jezebel's. Through it, Lawrence learns the other commanders plan to hijack New Bethlehem and execute him once they're done using him. Now that discovery finally pushes him to give up on Gilead.
Every single one of those goddamn men would be dead, and you would be the most powerful commander left in Boston.
Stop it.
Tuello gives him a suitcase bomb and asks him to place it on the commander's plane. June joins him as a driver. They arrive early to the plane, planning for Lawrence to place the bomb and escape, but the commanders arrive ahead of schedule too and see him there. He pretends he's joining them. There's no more running. Realizing it has to be a suicide mission, Lawrence boards the plane. He sits with Nick and tells him,
She told me to give all this up. She did tell me. Many times.
You should have listened to her.
And then it explodes. And that's how Joseph Lawrence met his fate.
You think I wouldn't take it back? I would take it all back. I'd let the whole fucking human race just die out. Just so I wouldn't have Gilead on my conscience.
So Joseph actually might have changed by the end. He did some good, but he also did a lot of harm. In the end, his story is sad, not just because he died, but because he died with so much left unresolved. If you believe in the afterlife, maybe he's finally at peace. Maybe he's with Eleanor, far from Gilead and far from what he built. But what do you think? Was Joseph Lawrence redeemed? Or like Fred and Serena and the rest of them, did he deserve a tribunal? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're still here, thanks for watching. And now remember, the important thing is to always keep questioning. Even me. Till next time.